So one of the best ways to think about inner form is, rather than going through it abstractly, is to have a quick case study. So very briefly, The Searchers tells the story of Ethan Edwards and Martin Pauly. Now, after Ethan returns to his brother's homestead after a mysterious time away, a band of native warriors attacks and kills everyone in his brother's family, except his niece Debbie. And this happened while Ethan was out with Martin and another band of people who are following some activity that has happened with the natives. And they've essentially been drawn out so that the homestead is open for attack. Now, Martin is the mixed breed orphan that Ethan rescued in the deep past of the story, and together they go in search of Debbie, and they have many conflicts between each other. But within the first 30 minutes of the movie, and it's one that makes it such a great example of this, we see all three of these inner form elements at play. So first, when it becomes clear that Ethan's family is under attack, Martin races off on his horse to the homestead. They're quite far away, but Ethan stays behind to rest and feed his horse. This creates great conflict because Martin sees this as completely irresponsible. And although Ethan's act seems cruel to Martin, it seems cruel to us in the audience, it's really an example of his reason weighing out over his passion. It's also an indicator of Ethan's experience dictating his behavior at a more strategic level than Martin's innocence or lack of experience allows for. And this is a huge conflict between the two. And indeed, Ethan winds up arriving at the destroyed homestead a little bit ahead of Martin, because Martin ends up having to walk because he killed his horse, or at least we are given the sense that his horse died. It could have just collapsed from exhaustion. But the whole thing is that his inexperience with horses and his choice to ride the horse based on his passion, his emotional need to go and save his family, led to him not even being able to show up as fast as Ethan, who allowed his horse to rest. And so this choice ultimately not only has reason versus passion and innocence versus experience, but it also has body versus soul tensions, because in the movie, Ethan uses every opportunity he can to make racial remarks about Martin. And he says at one point that only an Indian would force a horse to ride until it collapsed, and then try to force the creature to ride some more. This is just a few of the ways that these three inner form elements come into conflict in The Searchers. The Searchers weaves them together in so many wonderful ways that it's part of what makes it a classic. When you watch The Searchers as an exercise, you're going to have fun, you're going to train yourself in studying these inner tensions as you watch, and you're going to do it in a way that's very obviously connected to the outer form elements that we've been talking about. And so you'll be increasing your pleasure and deepening your understanding about how that characters deal with these conflicts in life, because we all face conflicts between experience and innocence, and reason and passion, and our body versus our soul or our psychology. So I hope you've had a chance to see The Searchers. Post your thought about it in the private Facebook group, and let's get started with the next section.